Hi, everyone. My name is Denise McKinley, and I'm a pre-sale specialist here at 2020. In today's session, we're going to explore 2020 CAP Complete and also look at the key benefits to migrating from your current platform. So looking at the key benefits, 2020 CAP Complete has an integrated CAD system, and it's based off AutoCAD. So you're no longer going to need to incur the cost of purchasing AutoCAD. So from a dealer principal or the person who is actually paying the bills, cost savings is always going to be very important. From the design perspective, all of the functionality you have today in 2020 CAP is available in 2020 CAP Complete, which means you're going to have a minimal learning curve and you're going to be able to be productive right away. You're still going to have access to over 170 different furniture manufacturers because it works with the current content that you're using. It opens as a DWG and it saves as a DWG. So there's no importing or exporting. You can open existing project files that you are working with today and continue to work on them. You can easily move projects between CAP and CAP Complete. So if you're using different platforms within your dealership, it's easy for multiple people to work on the same project with the two different platforms. And very key to this is it's the same workflow that you're using today. So it has complete integration with 2020 Worksheet and 2020 Visual Impression. So let's take a look at 2020 CAP Complete. I think the aha moment in most of the demos I do with our users is the fact that it looks so familiar to them whenever you come in. As I said earlier, the CAD system that is integrated with this application is based off of AutoCAD. So a lot of what you see and what you do in here is going to be just the same as you're doing today. So as an example here, down in the left-hand corner, you're going to have your tray that has your ortho, your snap, your grid settings. On the right-hand side here, I can go up or I can go over and I can set my view as far as my drafting. Right now it's 2D drafting and annotation, but I could set it back to classic, and then I can also customize it. So you can customize it to match what you're doing today. It also supports a ribbon. So if I go to my home, what you'll see is a ribbon that looks similar to what you're doing today. And then also I have a 2020 Office. So when I select on 2020 Office, it's going to give you access to all of the functions that you're using in CAP. My view is currently, or my working space is model space right now, but I also have layout tabs so that I can actually work in paper space. Mini Explorer functions the same way. Under content, you're going to see all of the content that you have installed. The nice thing about the migration is that there's no need to reinstall the content that you currently have because it's going to understand or connect itself to the existing content that you have installed. If I look at my projects tab, projects is where you store all of your custom catalogs. The custom catalogs are automatically going to be connected to 2020 CAP Complete. So if you've created custom catalogs with custom parts you may have created, standards, panel configs. So if you've previously created panel configs, you're going to have immediate access to all of those. So as an example here, if I step into this custom catalog, looks like I've got some standards that are in here. So if I just left click, drag and drop, there's the standard. And I can actually check that through my CAP info if I want to. So when I look at the standard, there's your standard name and then all the parts and pieces that are associated with that standard. If I'm working with individual parts and pieces, I can go back to the content tab. I'm going to step into our DMO catalog. Let's just do some seating. And I'm going to do conference seating, and we're just going to drag and drop a piece in. Once I've placed that, let's check our CAP info again, just to make sure you guys know that it is reading all of the attributes that are associated with that part. I can also right click and I can repeat last command, or if I go to last input, I can go ahead and insert another one. If I right click again, let's take a look at what's on the menu. I can also cut, copy, paste. I can also pan, zoom, so, things that you typically would do when you're working in a drawing. As I said, your panel builder configs that you have stored in your custom catalogs are available to you, but Automation Center will come up and function the way that you're doing it today using panel builder or auto hardware. And the nice thing about Cap Complete is that any existing drawings that you are working on today, you simply need to open them and begin working on them. If you are working in a dealership that potentially has different platforms, so if you have somebody who's using Cap and somebody who's using Cap Complete, because the functionality is the same and it does save as a DWG and opens a DWG, all you need to do is open a file and work on it, save it, and you can hand it off to the person who's using either Cap or Cap Complete. They can open it, they can continue to work on it. Also integrated with Cap Complete is your ability to generate a worksheet file. You can also use visual impression directly from Cap Complete. So things like copy rotate, block replace, as I said, Cap info, automation center, they're all going to be very easy for you to access from the ribbon. Let's just do convert so you can see some of the things that will work just the same. Let's just go ahead and convert this. And then using the CAD engine in here, I can go back to home. I can go to views. Let's just go ahead and do a southeast view. And I can come in here and hide it. And everything is there. Now let's go back to our office ribbon. And we're going to convert 3D to plan. Change our view. So let's go ahead and generate a bill of materials from here. So let's go ahead and go back to Office. Create worksheet. We need to save this. If I can spell. And we'll just go ahead and open this up and select finish here. And we will let our worksheet open. And then I can show you how it comes into Worksheet. So I'll just bring it over to the screen here. And let's take a look at it. So there's our 2 chairs that we placed and our standard. So let me go back to Cap Complete because I'm going to hit the little icon in the upper left-hand corner here. This is where you would access any drawings that you were recently working on. So let's just go ahead and open this DWG. And this DWG was created in Cap. So as I said, I can continue to work on it. Let's just double check something here for you. We're all good. And then as I said, I could launch this into visual impression. So we'll give it just a second here to open up. Okay, and give me just a moment here and we'll move the application over here so that you can actually see it. So this I had previously worked on in Cap. So it is, I have done several things with it inside of Visual Impression. I don't have any finishes on it, but I did work with the room side of it. So let's just do a quick HQ on it. Everything is kind of gray and kind of plain, but This is how it would come into visual or how it would come into visual impression for you. So once this is done, let me go ahead and close this. And then once again, we're going to create a worksheet file from this. And we'll go ahead and go through our little dialog boxes here. We will open the file. Okay, let's bring the file over. So here's all of the product that was in that drawing that was done in CAP, brought into CAP Complete, taken into Worksheet. So obviously at this point, I could apply my finishes. I could do my discounting. I could, generate a report from here. So let's just take a look at a couple things. One thing I wanted to show you here is that I had this drawing basically done and had generated a worksheet from it. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this function called update against worksheet. And in doing that, what I'm going to be able to do then is push all the finishes that were done previously. So if you've never worked with or never done update against worksheet, it's a very handy function and it can save you a lot of time. So I have my little icon here that tells me I need to update it against the catalog because I only update it against the worksheet. So I want to make sure that my pricing is good. So I'm just going to go ahead and update against the catalog. And then once I do that, you'll notice that the icon will change because now I've updated everything to the current catalog. So I'm going to have my current pricing. Another thing that I could actually do at this point too is I could update preview images. And I actually know a lot of people that don't know or don't use that function much. When a drawing is generated from or when a worksheet is generated from a drawing, you don't automatically get the preview. So if you want to have your preview image, make sure that you update your preview images because you're able to actually include those preview images in a report design. So once I've done that, you'll notice I've got my check mark, everything is complete. I've got my product preview. We'll hit escape here to close out of that. And then, like I said, from here, I could go ahead and apply a template. I've got one here that I just had. It's my company one because I like to turn it on to be able to do discounting. So then I could come up and obviously do my discounts from here. And then once I've applied my discounts, then I could come in and generate a report design so that I could present this to my client. So let's just use something I've already created here. So we'll just quickly generate that. Okay, and here's my report. So if you're not using report designs, I always tell people to take a look at it because you are able to create some very nice reports in here. The nice thing about reports too is that you can create them once and then share them with other people within your organization. So, I mean, if you've got somebody who has time to do it or is very good at it, they could create them and then just distribute them to the rest of the organization. And then just like if I'm using CAP, if I go back to Worksheet, I can come into, nope, I want to visualize. So we'll do the entire design. But one thing that you're going to notice differently here is that I've pushed finishes by updating against that existing worksheet that I had already finished. And so when I come in this time, you're going to see finishes. So we'll give it just a minute here to bring my scene in, and there's my finishes. So if I quickly come in here and do an HQ, we'll now see our design with finishes. And if you're not a visual impression user, I would also recommend or suggest that maybe you take another look at it. It's a great tool for you to be able to add or complement the presentations that you're currently making to your client. Remember that visual impression was designed to be fast and easy for anyone to generate a rendering. Now, obviously, in this case, I did a lot more work on it, but it could be as simple as just bringing in furniture with some finishes. You're able to put it into a white space, just do a rendering, and add it to your presentation. So let's go ahead and close out a visual impression, and we'll close out a worksheet, and we will come back to 2020 Cap Complete. So hopefully with this little session, I've been able to answer some questions that you may have had about the tool. Now, I would suggest that today we have additional sessions. There will be a session with Renee, who is one of our trainers, and she is actually going to take you through a small project using Cap Complete, and she'll be going into just a little bit more detail that may be able to answer more questions for you. And then Vanessa, who is the head of our training department, and she is absolutely amazing, is going to do a session on Worksheet. And she will be showing you some really cool tips and tricks because Worksheet has so much that it can do for you. I've had people refer to it as a Swiss Army knife. So if you think of what a Swiss Army knife can do, Worksheets got so much available to you, but I think so much that people don't use or they're not aware of. So please, if you have the time, attend her session. Also, Cindy Maple, who is our product manager, will be doing a session on what's new for our 2021 release. And the great thing is we've done some changes in Cap Complete on this on the CAD engine side. The one thing, and I think a big benefit we have with Cap Complete, and the fact that we have this CAD system, is that we can work with them on developing some features that may not be there. Obviously, in the AutoCAD world, we're just, a small fish in a big ocean. So we really don't have a lot of say on functionality. So I would highly recommend that you attend that session too. I think that you'll find, the balance of the day very helpful and very educational. So I want to thank you for your time today. Very much appreciate everybody attending this session. One more thing before I do go is that we do have a trial that is available for anyone who would like to try out the software. If you're an existing user, you can simply do a modified install from the software and install Cap Complete. And as I mentioned a few times, you can run them side by side, so you're not going to lose any productivity. For any of you who may be attending the session who are not CAP users, you can actually visit 2020spaces.com. You're able to fill out a form there and request a trial. And if you have any immediate questions, we do have live chat available now, and go ahead and ask your questions. Once again, thank you for your time.